The first season of Agent Carter is done. A mercifully short 8 episodes. And that's not an insult. One of its strengths was in its brevity. I mean, why drag out something longer than it needs to be? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1! This being set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the fact that we're getting Age of Ultron in a couple of months, means that this is just rife with Easter eggs and references building up to that and other upcoming Marvel movies. Now, I'm not going to go through every single little reference, because I'm sure I didn't catch a bunch of them, but here are what I think are the 5 best Easter eggs and references from Agent Carter Season 1. The parallels between Howard Stark and Tony Stark have always been apparent, but never more so than here. For example, both are womanizing, egocentric geniuses with a knack for making the worst kind of weapons. Their similarities, though, have never been more apparent than when it was revealed Howard Stark would rather destroy his weapons than let any government get their hands on them, which is exactly Tony Stark's sentiment in relation to his Iron Man suits. He also managed to build this kind of very unstable prototype Iron Man suit in the form of a tactical vest that's also capable of keeping you warm. He did manage to perfect the technology it's based on over time in the form of the arc reactor, but it took Tony Stark to miniaturize this technology. But the point is, the similarities between this and the Iron Man suit are very apparent. It even flies. No, wait, it just explodes. That's not the same thing. That's not very good at all. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if it was revealed that Peggy Carter and Tony Stark somehow know each other, seeing as her and Howard Stark are so close. I remember reading somewhere that she may have had a hand in raising him, which would add a whole nother dynamic to the relationship between him and Steve Rogers, but I can't find where I saw that, so it may have just been a very specific dream I once had. But we do know that she does have a run-in with the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, where she shot at him a bunch of times, just like she did during the war to Steve Rogers. We also see the beginnings of the Black Widow program, where young girls are trained in the art of espionage and assassination. Dottie acts as this kind of proto-Natasha Romanoff, both displaying very similar fighting styles. It looks like we will be getting more insight into Black Widow's character in Age of Ultron, but in the meantime, this is a pretty good look at a character she most likely shared a very similar origin with. Of course, there were multiple references to Captain America throughout this show. Hell, the series opens with him. We also see his shield in a dream sequence. We have the Captain America Adventure Hour radio serial, a vial of his blood, and a scene involving Howard Stark flying an aircraft, whilst Peggy Carter tries to talk him out of crashing it on purpose. Hang on a sec, there's a bloody plane flying overhead. Beat it, plane! I'm trying to record a video about Agent Carter and Marvel and Ultron and... Get out of here! Alright, we're good. So as I was saying, that scene parallels the end of the first Avenger. Was that what I was talking about? You bloody put me off, plane! Interesting to note that the last of Steve Rogers' blood is given a Heart of the Ocean style send-off, making it near impossible to recreate the Super Soldier Serum. This action echoes through the decades, leading to alternate Super Soldier programs, which in turn results in the Hulk, the Abomination, the Deathlock program from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and probably other things that I can't remember. We also saw a live-action human Jarvis, who's the basis of Tony Stark's AI Jarvis, who debuted in the first Iron Man, and is like a brother to Ultron, as they share the same creator, and they'll most likely clash in the Avengers Age of Ultron. But human Jarvis and AI Jarvis, they share a lot of similar traits. Dry wit, Britishness, being essentially a slave to a totally unbearable rich guy. When Jarvis will finally become the Vision in Age of Ultron, I wouldn't be surprised if the similarities between these two increase all the more. I mean, aside from the fact that the Vision is a robot man with a big purple face who can phase through walls. The amount of nods to villains and villainous organizations in Agent Carter is heaps! Uncountable! Actually, it's about 5, but wow! 5 is still as many fingers as you have on one hand. I hope. First off, we saw Anton Vanko, father of Ivan Vanko, lunatic bird enthusiast from Iron Man 2.
I want my bird.
Want a bird?
I want my bird. I want my bird.
We also saw Hugh Jones, who in the comics is a member of the Serpent Society, most notable for wearing a hat made of snakes, because that's where you want snakes, just wrapped around the top of your head. He's also the head of Roxxon, the organization who in the comics is responsible for Howard Stark's death. Johann Fenhoff, also known as Dr. Faustus, who is just the best at hypnotizing people, I'll come back to that, also meets up with Arnim Zola at the end of the series, which alludes to him playing a major role in the creation of the Winter Soldier. Because you know he's all mind controlled and whatever. Lastly, I didn't spot this, but over at Comics Explained, they believe that the ring that Fenhoff turns when hypnotizing people is in fact a ring of the Mandarin, specifically the one that's capable of creating vivid illusions, which this guy can totally do. This of course wasn't confirmed, but it does totally line up with the ease in which he's able to get inside someone's head. Also, this guy was in the Phantom Menace, but you already knew that because you love the Phantom Menace. That's right, I know your secret. That's about it, everyone, and if you like this, why not check out this video on why Spider-Man at Marvel could be a bad thing, even though it probably won't be, and my last video, terrible moments in good comic book movies. Both of those will be linked at the end of this video and below, along with my podcast, The Weekly Planet, that comes out every Monday and it looks at movies and TV shows and comic books. You can also find that at the terrific comicbookmovie.com. But did you enjoy Agent Carter? And if so, what was your favorite moment? Also, if I missed anything that you think is super important, please put it below, because I want to see it and be like, oh my god, I can't believe I never saw that. Alright, thanks everyone. Take care.